Welcome everybody to Full Spectrum Survival Live. We're just setting up a new studio space and I wanted to spend a little bit of time with you here. Kelly's doing a little bit of more remodeling here in the background, so occasionally you might hear a hit or two on the wall. You might hear some things like that. It's just us getting ready so that we can provide you with more material here on the channel. We have such a great community here. I hope that we give a couple of minutes for some people to really get started. We're going to have some great questions and answers and really just talk about what you want to see and what you hear happening. You know, I was talking with some friends and family, like I mentioned on today's earlier video, and we talked about how things were getting really, really rough for them. They were having a hard time being able to pay their bills, keep the electric on, pay for food, keep their water going, sewer. It seems like in our marketplace, we have had so many outlets just over and over again put us to the wall. They charge us in every way they can. We know that renewable charges are a thing in the future. They want to keep us on basically a monthly schedule to remain indebted for the rest of our lives. And for me and you, that's not really something that we are interested in. So let's talk about how we can avoid that, what we can do to talk about, getting friends and family ready, even the family that doesn't have any real interest in becoming prepared or, seeing the reason to remain sort of, independent of, all the things that are happening right now. So I want to make sure that if we have any questions, please leave the word question first, but even better if you can tag me here in the channel, or if you can leave it in capitals. We'll have some moderators, I'm sure, come in. These moderators will be able to give us some, repeats. That way, if I miss a question, we can really get to it here. Usually my lovely wife, Kelly, is here helping me, but she's in the background. She waved, but you didn't see it. So will you come over here so they can see who just gave them the wave? So when do the Hunger Games begin? I think that the Hunger Games, in terms of what we can expect, kind of already started. We're seeing shoplifting, crime increase on a, really a daily basis. You have the Home Depot CEO, or one of the finance officers, came out today and he basically said, people don't want to work. Somebody said, why are you dressed like Moby? I guess being bald and wearing a sweatshirt is a signature clothing, measure of his. So is there a nuke coming? Yes, there is going to be a nuclear device that gets used. It just matters really when it happens. Yeah, look at the LA riots. Look at the 2020 riots that we experienced, the 2021 riots. There's really no stopping what's coming. We've reached that point of no return pretty much, where you just don't have any choice in the matter. We are living through an economic disaster. We're living through social chaos. We have changes in the old world order. We have Russia and China ushering in the new world order. And what you and I have to do is just adapt. Feathered Coyote says, question, what are the steps to stay mentally strong, especially for our children? Well, for me, that's really the do your chores, do your prep work, and then have fun. If you can maintain that lifestyle, then you and your kids are going to have no problem realizing this new future, because they see that mom and dad, just like our grandparents before us, you just put food away. Because if you didn't put food away, you weren't going to have food when times got tough. And so they started putting food away and they started having that as a real everyday lifestyle. So you showing your kids preparedness and what to do will really help them, figure it out. Let's get another couple of questions. So if you have a question for the channel, please leave it in capital letters, and then we can kind of get to it a little bit quicker here. I want to see who I can make as a temporary monitor here for the channel tonight. I know we have a couple of very long-standing. Hey, Chip's booting up the laptop. So Chip's in there. I appreciate that. Hey, David Shears. Lots of great community members here. Question, what is the best way to stay warm in the winter? Well, having as many options as you can is definitely going to set you ahead of the rest of the crowd. So that means clothing. This is your first. You know, we weren't born. I'm a little hairier than everyone else. It kind of soaked in from my head and went to the rest of my body. So I have a pretty nature-driven warm coat. But besides that, we don't have anything. You know, we're in this earth as really fragile beings. And so we need extra layers. That's why our ancestors and, you know, looking at the native cultures of every part of this land, they all hunted, they used the skin, and they basically put on fur skin. Thanks, Frank Cavigia. I hope I said that right. I probably butchered it. Thank you for all of your great information. Well, I appreciate, you know, the super chat from you. I think what I'm going to do is, you know, for at least a majority of the lives, anybody who super chats, we're going to do something that we used to. And we are going to use that and put it toward local people here in our area that need some, you know, just added boosts in preparedness that we have communication with and that we can kind of meet face to face with. So I appreciate that. So warm, you have to get clothes. Then you need to have backup ways to heat your home. Make sure that you can close in just a room and keep that room heated. Make sure that you can kind of control as much environment as you can. Yeah, Chip, I believe that. It's easier to do it on a laptop than on a cell phone. Question, what do you think about precious metals for SHTF? They definitely have a place. So your precious metals are your silver, in my opinion, your lead, your copper, and your gold. I'm not too much of a gold guy myself just because I don't have the finances for it. So gold to some people with high finances is like silver and copper to me. Plus, besides using it in fillings, using it in things like, you know, you can put gold flake, and they say that gold flake is really good for you. I'm going to use silver a lot more than I'm going to use gold. So I'm going to use silver for silver fillings. I'm going to use silver to make colloidal silver or silver colloids out of. And doing that, I'm going to really double up what I even need my precious metals for. Plus, you can trade it. You can buy things with it. You can exchange it. There's just so much. Irish Rebel, I appreciate the super chat there. Thank you so much for sending in you know, support of our community. Let's see. I think I missed a question or two here. Somebody said, should you start preparing? I think that's kind of a given. You know, look at the year 2019. I don't remember exactly what Kelly and I were doing in 2019, but we were definitely watching things happen around our planet. You know, we're still suffering on this earth from the Fukushima disaster. Radiation pouring into our world's ocean. Scientists really have no idea what the long-term detrimental effects of this disaster are going to be. We were watching these things, the wars that were taking place, the Egypt war, you know, the civil war there, the Syrian civil war. We were watching really all of these things happen. In 2019, we were being prepared. And then 2020 happened. And we saw a novel disease, whether you believe it was blown out of proportion or not. There's 40 to 70,000 people that die in the US from flu every year. A lot of them are elderly or younger or those who are compromised. And I've always thought that that was horrible. A lot of that is preventable. But then we saw something novel come up that really took our attention away from normal flu. And so with that, we started, you know, doing our own level of biological preparedness. Then you have riots, shortages. We had a permanent break, what will be a permanent break to our supply chain. This break is not going to get better. It's really going to affect us for a very, very long time. Globalization, they're saying, is pretty much done. You're just not going to see globalization anymore like you were. And to some degrees, I think that that's a positive thing. We shouldn't be getting oranges in Florida from California. We shouldn't be getting strawberries in the north, you know, from other northern states. We should be getting things local to the best of our ability. But they saw that through contracting and all sorts of things they could do, they could really keep the wool over our eyes by thinking it's better to have California oranges in Florida. Lindsay, $49 in super chat. Thank you so much. Hi from the outskirts of Phoenix. I look forward to your videos every day on my drive home from work. Thank you for your hard work. It does not go unnoticed. Thanks so much, Lindsay. We really have an awesome awesome community here, and it helps us to really stay in touch with what matters to everybody out there, whether it's an economic crisis or further events that are affecting the individual, health crisis events. We could take our own situation and it could become an SHTF today. There are thousands of people experiencing a heart attack today. That is their SHTF. Look, Amazon just said that they were going to drop 17,000 people. That's 17,000 of your brothers and sisters who now are without a job, and they just experienced their own, maybe even their first financial SHTF event. Will they find another job like it? Maybe. Or maybe not. And that might be, and it will be for a lot of them, the thing that sets that snowball in motion, turning it into an avalanche, where it was that job loss. They ran behind on their bills. Their car got repoed. Their house got foreclosed on. And now they're living on the streets, living with people. They turn to drugs or alcohol because of the depression. And in a couple of years, you'll look at them in the corner and you'll say, oh, that's just a junkie. No, that's a human being. And that human being went through some hard times, and they were succumbed to the harder emotional tolls of each one of those times. Terry, oh boy, you really hit me with that last name, Terry. Terry Shavsnitz Jr. You'll have to tell me. I'm sure I butchered it, just like I always do. But thank you so much for that. So we have a lot of people in here. A lot of people saying they caught a live. I'm glad you guys were here. We didn't have any expectation of going live. Yeah, I think it looks good, Kel. Thanks. Would you turn the air down a degree or two? Okay. She's going to have to kind of like get through and get around. That's not on. I'm not using that. So you can just jump over that. And
I have to jump.
You can jump. Thank you so much, Miss Ladybug. Thanks for supporting your local people and for your faithfulness here on YouTube. I appreciate you. Well, I appreciate you, Miss Ladybug, and really everybody here. I respect you, whether you're preparing for an economic crisis, whether you're just here for community and camaraderie. I respect you. Kel, I feel like I'm missing a lot of questions. Do you think you could sit down with me and yeah, you're good. Kelly said, I'm not dressed for it tonight. I said, I'm not dressed either. I'm in a hoodie.
I've been working.
Yeah, you've been working. I know. I appreciate it. But if you'll sit here with me and maybe on the phone, look over some questions and give me the ones that I'm sure that I'm missing. No, it's not the picture that's crooked. It's the angle that I'm at with the camera, but I'm not using it instead of the regular camera.
Only because I'm actively doing it.
Yeah. So question, do you know where we can purchase prescription medications without a prescription? I'll scoot over here so that you can kind of get up next to me. So you've got contingencymedical.com. That's for antibiotics. So your things like azithromycin, amoxicillin, all those other things that are going to affect you when you get those cuts and scrapes that used to take out our forefathers and foremothers. Those things no longer take us out. They don't kill us anymore. And so the day might come again where we have those scrapes and bruises that really affect us. And having the antibiotics on hand that we need is really going to matter. So if you use Contingency Medical, I don't get any commission. I never, ever take commission. But if you use the code FSS10, you get a discount there. And I make sure that they give us discounts for anybody that comes on the channel. Question, do the antibiotics in contingency packs expire in a year? Yeah, so you're going to see normal expiration. Now, what happens with an antibiotic when it expires? You have oxidation. That oxidation begins to break down the active properties of the antibiotic. And so when you have the oxidation breaking it down, it slowly deteriorates. That means from the day it comes off the line until the day it is basically turned into powder, years and years and years ahead, it's slowly deteriorating. Now, will I still use antibiotics 2 years later? Absolutely. Might you have to use more than you expected to? Yes. Is there an off-label chart to using expired antibiotics? Not really. The doctors don't really have much to say about it because we have some surplus now. You can at least find it for the people who absolutely need it or they'll die. So they don't really talk about expired use except in emergency situations where they say, go ahead and use it. Can I have you scoot in a little bit more to me? I know we're kind of crunched.
Yeah.
But I just want to see you. in your pretty face. Frank Cavigia. You guys with the last names tonight. You really get me.
They're testing
Yeah,
you.
testing me. I need some Smiths out here. You're both awesome. Keep up the good work, Frank. I really appreciate everything there.
Yep.
Actually, I think
Yeah.
you're going to have to go and hit that. Maybe it'll refocus on us. I think we're okay now. We are testing this new setup, and so it's kind of slow to react sometimes. Okay, what do you? Thank you for what you folks do. Great broadcast. God bless. We drop a link in a description for later. Yeah, I'm sure you'll find it. Or if you go on today's video, actually, you're going to find it on today's earlier video here on the channel. What were you trying to do here?
I was doing it so it showed all live chat,
Live
not
chat,
just.
okay.
I don't know what it does to pick what top chat means. So
Yeah,
I figure you just get every question. You might miss them if.
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Hey, everybody. Storm and Truth Preparedness, just welcoming everybody to the community. Question, do you know where we can get meds that are not antibiotics? So that's tougher.
Yes.
Meds that aren't antibiotics. You are going to probably have to do a little bit of social engineering to talk with your doctor and give them a good reason why they should prescribe you non-narcotic, non-addictive medicines for an emergency.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times doctors are pretty understanding, and they'll say things, they'll hear things like, well, I'm going on a trip to visit family for 3 months. Could you prescribe me 3 months of my heart medication? And they're going to go, okay, well,
Yeah,
I'm going to
makes
prescribe
sense,
you
yeah.
those heart medications. Now, if you say, doc, I need 3 months of Valium, they're going to go, hold on a second.
Mm-hmm.
We're not going to prescribe that class of, medicine.
Right.
So it really depends on what it is. One of the biggest things that you can do is you need to find alternatives to the best of your ability, whether that is, the things that you can do in your lifestyle.
Next direction. Can you put it in caps again? I mean, the chat is just zooming
Flying
by. It is really hard to catch it.
YouTube gives us about this
It is
much of the
tiny.
lives of the chat.
Right.
So we, by the time 6 people say something, it's
Right.
gone.
And if you do it in all caps, our eyes can catch it even easier.
Somebody asked about EpiPens needing a prescription. That's because you can use epinephrine in the facilitation of methamphetamine use and turning it into other things. So yeah, it does need a prescription. But if you have a family member with a diagnosed allergy, they're going to give you a prescription for it, and they'll give you a year or 2 ahead also. Mm-hmm. I know because we have a diagnosed allergy in our family, and so we're able to say, hey, well, what about one for our travel,
right.
Travel vehicles? What about one for this? And they'll just give you extra scripts.
Yep.
So, Brad, let's see. We've got a couple more. Jace fills 1 year of thyroid meds. So great,
Oh,
Jace
that's
Medical.
great. Yeah.
I know they were working
Yeah.
on that last time we talked about it.
Mm-hmm.
So just make sure that you check with them and see. Full spectrum CBD, Kratom for pain. I know a lot of people do Kratom, and what's the other one?
Kratom and
There's another one.
Me. There is.
We see it all over these shops. Local. It's another tea or tincture or something that you can get locally that has pretty decent properties that people use. I have a texture thing, and people say it's slimy. Now, I guess if you're in a lot of pain, well, slimy is better than the pain that you're in. Micah May. Question. What will we get nuked without any government warning? What do you suggest in safety, and what do we do? Stay. Seems like you're yelling, but if you don't mind, maybe they're talking about caps. Warfarin you can get from Jace Medical as well too. That's awesome.
Yeah, I know they had been in the process of getting kind of like normal monthly prescriptions for people, so that's awesome.
Kelly and I were just talking about, while I wait for some questions to come in or for them to get reposted, we were just talking about maybe doing a 30-day video series where we don't do any shopping. Mm-hmm. We have kind of a luxury here because we work from home. Even in our photography, people come to us.
Right.
And so doing a 30-day, you don't leave. You don't do any shopping, use only your food stores, and kind of showing the daily recipes and things like that. But we don't know what you guys would like to see. So, make sure you tell us whether that sounds good to you or leave the recipes to, here in their videos.
Right.
Kava, that's right.
Yes, I was going to say
Kava and Kratom. Somebody said Kratom's a godsend. So yeah, definitely it isn't. It probably does have addictive properties to it, just like caffeine No matter
Right.
what, caffeine has addictive properties to it.
Absolutely. Crystal, thank you so very much. She says, I do bookkeeping for Kroger. Company forecasts a coin shortage this year, not unlike 2019, 2020. Consecutively, our safes are packed with rolls of coins, and we can keep getting deliveries about weekly.
I appreciate the heads up there.
Yeah.
Do you know anything? What's going on with the long term of the other shortages that we don't seem to get back in stock, like potatoes? Hold on, my video just went real wonky. Maybe I got better. I looked down and we are basically
We're like,
Minecraft characters.
Yeah.
So what about some of the other ones, like potatoes, things like that? Taylor, thank you so much. Cedar is commonly used in teas as an anti-inflammatory. And Taylor says it can help with respiratory organs. It can help with bronchitis, pneumonia, and arthritis. That's awesome. I know that we are experiencing a storm system here.
We are, and it might be affecting the connection and the bit rate and everything. So if we get kind of wonky, bear with us. It probably will fix itself. And if it doesn't, then we'll figure something else out.
That's right. Yep. 9 ounces of gold saved. So let me go ahead and I'm going to take that. I am definitely a +1 for that, but I'm going to take it out so that nobody else even sees any sort of savings like that.
Yes.
But that is definitely a plus on a person's ability to, put gold away. I mean, if I had the opportunity, I'd be putting it away.
Absolutely.
Question. The question went by too quick. Wild lettuce works for pain and back joint.
Right. Just be sure that if you're doing wild edibles, definitely know how to properly identify.
Mm-hmm.
There are a lot of lookalikes of things and such. So be sure to,
John
practice.
Smith, I appreciate the openness there. Says, I was addicted to heroin and Kratom is just as addictive. Now, I have my own opinions on this. My opinions are that I would much rather a person be on Kratom than something that is so nastily tainted,
yes,
in our world. So both addictive, yes. Again, caffeine, addictive.
Right.
Not that those two are anywhere near each other, but I would just much rather somebody be on Kratom than something like heroin. I'm glad you're not anymore.
Yes.
Eggs where I'm at are $26 for 18.
I believe they are very expensive.
Lisa has a good question. Will you read it for me?
Lisa says, question, in Florida, is running my lake water through the Sawyer enough, or do I need bleach or boil it? With the scum and the gators, I wasn't sure.
So mostly you want to look out for other stuff like organics coming or inorganics coming into your lake water. Like, do you have water runoff? Hold on, there was another question up there.
Okay.
Do you have water runoff from a nearby road or something like that? How are you going to handle that? So that's the tricky position. If it's a lake that you don't worry too much about water runoff, definitely your Sawyer is going to be good enough.
Right.
Rickus says, question, are fish antibiotics safe for humans?
I mean,
they say they are.
They say they are.
I have stored antibiotics before. In fact, when we were doing, we had reptiles before, I've pricked myself with animal antibiotics.
Right.
No problem. But am I going to give a pharmaceutical grade first? Yes. I might even try pharmaceutical grade first and then something like heavy garlic loads,
right.
or
something
like
natural
that.
Yeah.
And then if I see that isn't working, then yes, I'm going to use an animal antibiotic. Let's see.
There was
Next Direction Films. Thanks so much for that. If you had a question.
Yeah, the Next Direction was one that my question keeps getting passed, but I don't know if we missed it again. So
if somebody else sees Next Direction's questions,
post it. Tag us if you can. I know if you're on a phone, it's a little more difficult to tag someone. So if somebody can just tag us, it just stands out even more against the other chat.
Let's see. I saw Crystal maybe said something about some of the other shortages. Somebody said, I'm addicted to watching Full Spectrum. Turmeric powder.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's see.
See,
it's like disappearing. Okay, Crystal, postage stamps increase in price in January.
Yes,
that's
we
right.
know that firsthand from doing Patreon cards.
Yeah, so we do our mail outs every month, and I told Kelly I don't ever want to change the price. We did it at $10 a month. How many years ago?
I think I want to say
We're at month 74. So let me see how many months ago that was. So let's see.
It's not.
Bear with me, folks. My math is not exact. Let's see. So that's almost 6.5 years ago we started. Haven't changed the price since then because I don't think that's right. I think that instead of a place making more profit by, look at the stores.
Yeah.
Right. So Walmart, Publix, they all said that they needed to, increase their prices. They said inflation, it's just here.
Right. We can't keep up with it.
And then they posted record profits.
Yes.
You can't do those two things simultaneously.
Those don't really go together.
If you had to raise your prices just because of inflation or shortages or whatever, then you wouldn't be making record profits.
Right.
More people aren't buying potatoes than they were 2 years ago. So I have a problem with that personally. I said, I'm not going to raise the prices, even though the cost of lamination pouches goes up.
Every single aspect of producing it
like 30%.
has increased completely, but we want to give back. That's why it's at the $10 level, because we're getting closer and closer to it costing that much to send out.
That's right. Hopefully we're back there. It says our thing is excellent. Let's see if you guys can start talking to us again, and if we can see what we have happen here. Frozen buffering. Yep.
Yeah.
Hopefully you guys stuck around with us. We just have a bad storm going here, and it must have just been messing with the internet. Good evening, South Florida. Becca Scraps says, hi, question. Do you?
Yes. Do you have any resources, channels, books, ideas, tips, etc. for basic food storage ingredients? My ADHD brain is stuck on this. I definitely wouldn't say that's a bad thing to be stuck on. Food is very, very important.
Yep.
We have done some videos on food storage, on rice, things like that. We tend to, on Patreon, we tend to try to do a food related card each month. So there are things out there, but
yeah, ours, we just know from experience.
Right.
I'm thankful that Kelly can cook because I'd be eating the same junk all day, every day. And it'd be okay junk. It'd be oatmeal and rice and, a can of corn and things like that. But it'd be the same thing every day. Luckily, Kelly can develop her own recipes, and she cooks using just staples from our pantry. We're not a 1,000 different ingredients kind of people.
Yep.
So it's her recipes there in our Patreon cards. We give one every month. Other than that, probably the Great Depression stuff.
Yeah, there are a lot of Great Depression stuff that give good advice on food storage. Frank, again, thank you so much. Nuclear War Survival Skills Updated and Expanded 1987 edition by Crescent H. Kearney. That's great.
It's a great book. I hope everybody gets a chance to at least read, some from it. Let's see. Let's keep it going here.
Yep, I'm sure we missed.
Costa Rica. Thumbs up on ordering heirloom seeds.
That's great.
Yep. I have earbuds in.
I keep hearing loud booms in the background.
Yep.
If that was at the beginning, the loud booms were probably me. So I apologize for that. I know you can start, the stream midstream, so you might be at the beginning and eventually you'll hear this.
That's right. M. Fletch, watch you every day. Thank you so much for being here with us.
Jacqueline, thank you so much for the super chat. We really appreciate it. It's awesome to see so many people in here. Rick Joyce's question: when do you think layoffs for factories are happening? We always get our news last minute.
I mean, they're happening now. We talked about at the beginning of this stream.
Yep.
Amazon just announced tonight 17,000 people without a job.
Right.
Imagine you're already in hardship. You just spent all that extra money that you could even scrape together on Christmas presents.
We don't do
presents, really, but imagine you did that.
Mm-hmm.
Your bills are coming due.
Right.
You get laid off.
Now what?
Now what do you do? That's the position that 17,000 people are in right now.
Yep.
What are your thoughts on constitutional Second Amendment to defend yourself and your family? We're very heavily respectful of the Second Amendment, I would say. I see it being threatened as a amendment here in the country. I do expect there to be a continued push for, anti-gun laws.
Mhm.
Are there too many guns in America? I mean, there's too many bad
Yeah.
people
I
everywhere.
think that really is something that I've always kind of seen as, you take guns away from criminals, but they're criminals. They're doing stuff they're not supposed to begin with.
Yeah, they don't
So
care.
taking something away, they don't care. They'll just find something else. You're just taking away from the people that need to be able to defend themselves or get food for the family, things like that.
That's right. Yeah, absolutely. Question: what's a good way to approach neighbors about being more active toward preparedness? I guess take XYZ disaster of your area.
Yeah.
And talk to them about it. So here in Florida, it would be hurricanes.
Right. Yeah, that's always a good subject and always something we see a lot of people try to prepare for. And it's a good, it's an obvious threat to people.
Yeah.
So they see like, okay, there is, a threat of flooding and power outages. So they think more on how to be prepared for that. So thinking of that, you could be prepared in other ways. If you gather food for a storm, well, you also have food for if you can't afford to go get food or something.
And I guess like at our home in Alabama, hurricanes aren't so much a threat, but tornadoes are.
Mm-hmm.
So you talk about tornadoes
Right.
or flooding. If you're in the East Coast, you talk about earthquakes.
Mhm.
If you're in areas where riots tend to happen, bad areas, you talk about crime and
Right.
things like that.
Yeah.
And just kind of bringing up those small things, I think, can help people kind of get past that next step. The biggest thing I would say to do is never go overboard.
Yeah.
Never be like, guys, the world's ending. What are you going to do? How are you
Right.
going to survive? Or am I going to have to eat you and your family?
Not the best way to go about it.
Yeah,
No.
they're not going to take well to that. So
No.
instead, you talk about those little things that they can do.
Yeah, right. Valerie says, question, what's the best way to store water? Storing water is difficult.
Heavy. It's
That
very heavy.
you need a lot of water. And to store the amount of water that you need is difficult. So we are more of the mindset of filtering water and know where you can collect water from in the event of that you need it.
Yeah, that's right. Resistor, thanks so much for the super chat. Love your feed.
Yep, I really appreciate it.
Jacqueline, again, thanks so much.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for doing what you do. What do you think about the attack on the U.S. base in Syria? Yeah, so there's a lot going. Syria, the whole Turkey, Greece, Syria, Israel, Iran area is going to pop off this year. What is going to come from it? That's going to be tricky business when we wait to see kind of what happens. What we do know is it's going to get heavier in that area. Self-Reliant said a new short film. We were talking about that.
We were just talking about those are enjoyable, I guess I would say. That's a good way to get creativity and all of that out.
Okay. Thanks, Del. Will you read that to me?
Yes. Next Direction Films. Thank you so much. First, Brad, question: do you think that the world will ever be normal again, or will there be peace, or are we just destined to destroy the earth and destroy each other?
I think that's kind of a multifaceted question. So I had a friend recently who talked about his family, and he was like, well, I can't believe that new children are coming into this earth. And, I said, well, I feel for you. I feel for your understanding and your empathy there. But I also have talked to people from third world countries, developing countries, who they live lives where you go to get water and you risk violence or sexual violence.
Right.
You're just going to get water.
Mm-hmm.
You just risk your life every day as though you were just another animal on this planet and other predators existed. And when they were asked why they bring life into this earth, they said because they feel it in their heart and they need to. And, it's an expression of themselves to create life and love their children.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a driving factor. And so that really took me back to, will life ever be normal again? Probably not the normal you and I experienced from the 80s, 90s, 2000s.
Yeah, you have to find a new normal.
It's the new normal.
Yeah.
That's right. Will people still be having kids? Yes. Should they? If they feel that love that they need to give to a child, and it's not maybe not the ideal world to grow up in, but neither was ours. Look, we were born into this world in chains to the economy.
Every person, yeah.
Yeah, each one of us born in chains. I guarantee that you have grandparents, great-grandparents, great, and going. that each paid off their land. And are you living on it for free today? No, you're not. And neither am I. And that's just a fact that but we accepted this as our new normal.
Right.
We had a couple of things that I wanted to get to.
Yeah, probably destined.
We accepted that as our new normal. So I think just being ready to adapt and
Right.
overcome all those things will really help.
Will there be peace again?
Yes, but I don't think there was ever worldwide peace.
I think
Yeah.
no matter what, there's always conflict of some sort
Mhm.
between people. People are, I think, inherently gonna have conflict.
Yeah, there's
You
always
know?
going to be wars and fights
Right.
and all that. Do I think houses will be affordable again? Yes, but the problem is, will you be making enough money at the time to afford it?
Yeah.
Even if a house is $30,000
It
And-
depends on how.
and you make nothing,
Right.
it doesn't matter.
Yep.
Ninja Squirrel, thanks so much. Says, do the things, everybody.
Yeah. Do the things.
That means do your preps, do your chores, do your fun.
Right.
Uh,
We talked about the Second Amendment.
will you read this one for me? Oh, I just
Yeah.
missed it. Where'd it go?
Well, you were.
Oh my goodness.
Sorry guys, the chat is just it's
Somebody
hard.
asked about RSV and COVID, and I can't find it again. Jim Stafford, thanks so much for the
Thank
super
you.
chat. It is it's storming everywhere across the South. It's just a big line moving forward.
Yep.
Avoid all, and I mean all, artificial intelligence at all time, at all costs.
All I mean,
The funny thing about
Yeah.
AI, we don't even have we can't even smell the AI that the government has access to.
yeah, we're just getting even the stuff that's coming out now that we're learning about is so far behind
Yeah.
what they already have.
And don't get me wrong, the AI machine learning right now, it's passing the bar exam, it's passing all sorts of hurdles that no machine learning has ever been able to. Each time that AI is asked about its future, it always says it's going to take over the world, like mankind, and enslave mankind. And let's face it, it's real easy to enslave people, right?
I mean, look at
Look at our phones. There was just a study that came out now saying that the generations that are growing up right now that have had access to phones, people get their 4-year-olds phones,
yeah.
and it changes their behavior
It does.
where they'll post something or talk to somebody, and then they have like an OCD drive to go get gratification or either positive or negative emotions from that device.
hmm
How would AI use that to control us? It's easy. I mean, it would be
yeah.
ridiculous.
So just the idea is just moderation of everything, I suppose.
Let's see. Let's get to another couple of questions here. That was Jim.
Yep.
Yeah, thanks. Next Direction for sticking through and actually getting to where we could see that.
Yeah. Dove Eye says, I have access to pool water. How would you prepare that for drinking?
Dechlorinate it.
Yeah.
If you can distill it, that's going to be good.
Mhm.
You're definitely going to have to take out heavy amounts of chlorine and then filter it, hopefully through something that will also take out even more chlorine.
Right.
It's going to be tricky, but it can be done. I'd rather have pool water than no water.
Yes, absolutely.
Definitely a new normal.
Yep.
What part of the South? So we're in Florida right now. We also have a homestead in Alabama that we
Mhm.
are greatly missing.
We are.
So hopefully you'll see us back there very soon. Let's see. Stack it to the rafters. Absolutely.
Yeah.
For any virus, vitamin D is great. Zinc, vitamin C.
Yeah. Vitamins they're good.
Kelly always used to not make fun of me, but joke at me because I would just load up on so much vitamins and antioxidants and everything anytime that I would catch a sniffle. And I'm talking load up 4, 6, 8,000 milligrams of vitamin C. Make sure that you're getting it from sources that are derived from natural sources,
Right.
not just artificially derived
Right.
ascorbic acid. Adding to that all sorts of other antioxidants. I would just be walking around like a big gut-loaded creature full of antibiotics, but I get over it quick.
You
So,
do. He really does. His body, he fights it.
Did you post a video today? Yeah,
Yep.
it'll be there. Lives go on a different part than the regular videos.
Mhm.
Dove Eyes, preparing pool water for drinking.
Yep,
Yeah,
we did.
distill it and then further filter it. Bama J, I didn't see you in here, but I see someone talking to you. So welcome in the chat tonight.
Hey, Food Forest. Good to see you.
Yep, nice to have you in here tonight. Make sure if you have a question for the community that you want to see read, leave it in capital letters. Just hit caps lock, or on your phone, double click to go to capital letters. And if you can, tag us so that we can see it. So when do you return to Bama? Are your parents okay? So we have family that's our group up in Alabama, but we have blood family here that we're doing a little bit of caretaking for. So we're going to be kind of just back and forth as we go. It's been more forth than back.
Right. It's hard. We've had it planned numerous times to go back up there, and things just happen that make us have to stay. So we kind of just are, at one point we'll just be like, hey, let's just go right now.
Yeah, that's how I have to do it.
Yep.
People asking if they've made it through the storm okay. Great Reset in full effect. It's so funny, when they talk about the Great Reset, we have seen them openly say that they were going. When I say they, I mean economic leaders of our world, not the guys who are, bickering back and forth between political parties. I mean the people who are pulling those strings. They've said that their plan is to do a lot of bad for humanity. They don't think it's bad.
No.
They think the more they can get you to slave away, own less, pay more expensive, more for the things that you are going to get, and have recurring business models is the best thing since they helped develop sliced bread. And so they really are pushing that. Do I like Elon Musk? He's another distraction. He didn't make it on his own. He had entitlement that allowed him to take $1 million loans from family.
He's on another level above all of us.
So do I like him more than some other people? Yes. Do I think that he is the savior of, technology and humanity? Absolutely not. They say a number of families control the wealth. That's absolutely right. The rest of us are literally nothing. Somebody said, would this have occurred if Trump was in office? You have to tell me what this means. The Russian-Ukrainian conflict still would have occurred. Natural disasters still would have occurred.
Inflation still would have occurred.
Yeah, inflation.
All of this. Yeah.
But to varying degrees, because even though they are two sides to the same bird, you have the left wing, you have the right wing, still the same carcass in the middle. It would just be different flavors. What's up?
Just the question.
Oh, you can read it to me.
Clit asks, question, who do you think would win a fight between a taco and a grilled cheese sandwich?
I guess that it's going to be me because I'm eating them both. Grain shortages in California. Yeah, grain shortages actually all over the USA. Do you pull the kids out of school and go back to rural? Go bug out rural? PR, do you mean Puerto Rico or to our preparedness retreat maybe? Give me some more details there. As far as pulling the kids out of school, I think you have to do what's right for you and your family.
Absolutely.
If homeschooling is right for the kids and right for you,
then that's perfect.
What do you think? What do you think about making changes to family, like trigger events, things like that?
I think it really depends on each individual family, and they kind of have to each make their own kind of plan, a bullet point of like, if this happens, let's do this. I think it's good for a family, if you have children, to have some sort of, I say curriculum, but not really like go all in. If they're in school, just to have a way to like still do some sort of learning, even if it's normal everyday stuff, cooking, gardening, things like that, just to have that kind of already
I think kids,
in store.
Kids have to have a curriculum. It doesn't have to be
sit down, do this book.
Curriculum. They need to learn all the things that they need to for their math, for science, for history. If they don't learn history, they will repeat it.
Right.
You need to do those things. But do you need one teacher watching 30 kids to do it? No.
Yeah.
Can you do it at home? Yeah, I believe so.
Thank you so much, Kimberly. I think that was 2 super chats.
Even said try again there, so
yeah.
It might have been.
So thank you so much. We really appreciate it.
Let's see. We have something hidden. San Andreas nukes. I hope nobody gets nuked.
Yeah, we don't wish that.
Question, I'm new to Florida. how do you find a doctor who is reasonable? So we do teledoc. So
Yeah, we do. There's quite a few that you can find that you're going to get an actual, like a good, physician. I think anywhere you've got to find someone that you trust, that you like, that
we'll listen to your
will
concern.
listen to you. If they don't listen to your concern, if they brush it off, things like that, then I would suggest, finding one that you feel more comfortable with.
Somebody said, are you appreciative of our veterans? Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, absolutely.
Now, were they fighting a banker's war or a government's war? Yes. Have they always done that? Yes. We're kind of at this point where we as humans are individuals. We believe ourselves to be enlightened or smarter than generations past.
Mm-hmm.
And so we want to think like that. You don't need to go take sticks and stones to go take over someone else's land.
Right.
But the fact of the matter is, governments have never gotten away from that.
No.
They are going to use sticks and stones and bullets and nukes and biologics and chemical weapons,
Mm-hmm.
and they're going to go take somebody else's land. They're going to do it a lot of times under the guise of regime change. They're going to say it's for the betterment of the people.
For the people. We're going to save
they're
the
helping
people.
them. And then they're going to set up shell corporations and other organizations inside those countries and control the resources.
Mm-hmm.
They basically took sticks and stones.
And
They had your brothers and sisters and mine
Right.
fight for them to
fight a
go
war
get that,
That's not theirs.
die for them to go get that. But that doesn't stop me from being appreciative of our veterans who fought under the belief that they were doing it for you and for me. So that was a long-winded answer to that question.
It was. Blissfully Lala.
Mhm.
Brad, you are appreciated. I love your attitude towards family and reality. Greetings from Olympia, Washington. Much love.
We talked about going to Washington at one point in
We
time.
did.
My oldest son has some online friends from there, but we don't have any support structure there. So,
Mm-mm.
But I do like the area. I like being that close to Canada and the wilderness there.
Yes.
That's why we chose, near the Appalachian Trail in Alabama, because I want to be
Near
that wilderness.
Absolutely.
Let's see. NFL player is another distraction.
I mean,
So many distractions.
yes, there's one after another.
Thanks for using tag.
Thank you, Justin. Question: what distance from your bug in location would you recommend your bug out location be from each other? I mean, there's a lot of factors that go into that. I think having more than one bug out location, if you can, is a good idea.
It doesn't have to be something you own.
No. But just a place, even like a primitive campground kind of place,
Right.
things like that, somewhere you can go and find out, find all different ways to get there. Like, what if you can't have a car, you can't drive your car there
Yeah.
for some reason.
Right.
Is it going to be so far you can't take a bike or something like that? I think there's a lot of factors that go into. I wouldn't think you'd want it too incredibly far, because distance does matter, unless you need it. If you're in a location that if
That's a nuke
big,
or something.
a nuke, you want to get far from that. So
Yeah.
again, I think there's a lot of factors that go into locations. What do you think?
Yeah, I think one of the first parts of preparedness needs to be campcraft.
Mhm.
And so if you have campcraft and you can survive in the woods for 2 weeks, even with, just with a backpack full of stuff, you can basically take your campcraft as far
Right.
as you need to away from a disaster.
Yep.
Other than that, like you said, you do need to have multiple support locations.
Mhm.
One might be a bug out location. One might be a friend in a state away. One might be family in another location. And just have that support so that if you have to go that far away, you
Right. Absolutely.
can. Smoke and Swamp.
Smoke and Swap said, Brad, question. I have heard word on YouTube that the bear is planning on
So Russia.
Yeah.
Taking out
the president of
Yep.
Belarus. Have you heard about this?
Yeah, so there's a lot to discuss about what's happening between Russia and Belarus. The Belarusian military will probably have a play in the Ukrainian war, the European war, pretty soon. They're prepared to, just like you have Poland and some of the other neighboring European countries preparing to have a part in this war against Russia. Thanks, Storm of Truth Preparedness. I appreciate that.
that.
So I do think that you're going to see more of a play on Russia's position there and how Russia can coerce Belarus into that. The people aren't very happy in Belarus with the administration there, and I think that it'll be tricky business to get them involved, but they will get involved. Let's see. Well, let's read this one.
And Alicia, thank you for going live. I needed this so much. I feel like no one understands me. It moves and it's hard to read it in this and how I feel. I'm so scared. I'm not trying to be. All my mummy senses are going off.
Yeah, so we are in this together.
Absolutely. That's one thing about on this channel, in this community, we are so grateful for how supportive and civil and all of that every person is on here.
With each other.
With each other.
Right.
You see, I mean, the chat is going by. A lot of that is just people discussing between themselves and things like that. Everyone is so supportive. We don't get all that many trolls. Right. You know, it's very rare. And sometimes they even end up coming around.
Yeah, because I'll never be mean to trolls, mean back. It's just, hey guys, we're just trying to help people, and if you want to be a part of this community, you can be here.
Right. Yeah. Come on over.
Yeah. Right. Let's talk.
Yeah.
And even if your concerns aren't my concerns,
right,
or mine aren't yours, do you think having water is a good thing?
Right.
Do you think having a little food is a good thing?
Right.
Then we've got something in common. Yeah. So we're glad to have you here.
Absolutely.
Do you believe in the Bible? So, I've talked about many times in the past on this channel. I believe that faith is a huge part of preparedness, and I have purposefully steered away from giving my opinion to other people because my faith tells me that everybody needs to be prepared. And so I don't want to put any negatives or any ideals against that.
Right.
If you're a Muslim, I want you to be prepared. You're a Buddhist, want you to be prepared. You're, Jew,
atheist.
I
mean,
Christian,
everyone. Yeah.
Everybody.
Right.
I want you to be prepared. And I also want you to know that you are a welcome member of this community. I think that if churches in the USA were a little bit more like that, you'd have a lot more people hearing good words about what to do and how to get ready. But unfortunately, they're not. So I hope that answers your question to the degree that, you'll find, worth listening to. That's a good question.
Carol Moody says, any advice for a couple who are disabled and live in a city and have to bug in? We've had quite a few people in the community that are older, that are disabled, and they're like, I don't know what to do. Like, what can I bring to a group? What can I do to even prepare? And we've always said that you still can be a vital part of a community.
Yeah.
You can still do what's within your ability to prepare for yourself. So I never think that being disabled should stop anyone from being able to do what's in their ability to prepare, even if it's bugging in the middle of the city.
Yeah. So, and also have some sort of support structure with friends or family, and just tell them, hey, I'm disabled.
Right.
I can't get out. If something happens, will you come get me? And you just got to plant that seed in their mind that, oh man, I've got to go pick up Mary, and hopefully they'll go get Mary.
Yep.
Maybe you say it to 3 different people. And if you have multiple people looking out for you, you leave a note that says, hey, I already went here, so that if somebody else comes to get Mary, they go, okay, Mary's good. I can go take care of X, Y, Z. So that's probably the best, course of action. We have people that we will pick up in the event of an emergency. So you will find people who will, take that on. I did a video probably 5-6 years ago about you can either be a burden or you can be, a boon, or you can be an asset or a burden. Good job. I didn't remember it. So you can be an asset or a burden. You can be an asset as a disabled person, as a child, as, a grumpy old man. Yeah. Doesn't matter. You can be an asset, or you can be a burden. The best prepper, best marksman could be a burden to your survival. And so it's really up to you whether you're an asset or a burden. And so I think that if you talk with people and give them reasons to find you as an asset, you're going to find that they are willing to help you, even more than you thought that they would. A disability is only such if you believe it. I have a disabled dad with us here. So that's great.
Yeah.
Can't find a group to join in Eastern Arizona. then maybe you just have to start your own.
Yeah, you might have to start your own. You can reach out to, neighbors or people and kind of like, test the water on, just something simple. Something simple is like, wow, I just went to go get eggs and they cost this much,
Right.
like just something, basic.
A lot of times, if you just tell people what you can do, and maybe offer them to go fishing,
Yeah.
hunting, camping,
Right. Yeah, something, and then it's just a hobby. But at the same time, if you can go hunt, if you can go fish, if you can, make a little garden, then you're preparing.
Fox says, please recap what's going on real fast. If you mean about this channel, we're just here to talk and share some
Yep.
community here, talk about the things that are happening in our world and how we get ready.
Mm-hmm.
Giovanni had a good statement to what we were just saying.
Yeah, be careful who you put trust in.
Absolutely. Yeah,
yes.
That's a huge part of preparedness and making sure that you aren't overexposed.
Mm-hmm.
If you become overexposed, then people can and some will take advantage of that.
Yes.
Homestead Aquarius is in there. I'm worried about my asthma. Will you read that one?
I use a steroid inhaler as well as albuterol, and once the steroid inhaler is gone, I can only manage about a week before my asthma starts its
cycle.
Yeah.
So there are some good things that are helpful for asthma that people use in other countries. Maybe look up some National Institute of Health.gov studies on asthma and caffeine. Look up prednisone alternatives that are on the National Institute of Health.gov. Again,
Right.
I'm not a doctor, not giving medical advice,
Right.
but I think if you look out there, you might find some things that you can try now before you have to.
Right.
And
Yes.
then you'll be a little bit more prepared if you find a problem then.
Hey, AC, thanks so much. Glad to have you here.
Believe half of what you see and nothing you hear.
I mean, yeah.
Polish government released an English version of Get Ready. Yeah, the Poles are definitely getting ready. What do you prep?
Save for sanity of mind or treats?
Give me a little bit more detail on your
what do you
question
mean? Are you talking about like what do you do for food wise? That kind of thing. So just let us know.
We're not going to go for too much longer, guys. Thank you so much for being here with us. Please, if you have a question, leave all caps.
Yes.
Or slap the word question 3 times before.
Right.
It's something that'll catch our eye.
And anyone that sees someone ask a question that we
didn't get
missed,
to.
just throw it out there again, because again, it's just scrolling by quickly.
Yep.
Crystal, thank you so much. Thanks for all that you do. God bless. Thank you so much for being here. We really appreciate every single one of you guys for popping in on this unexpected live.
That's right. And Crystal's a great part of our community. Always in there every day and giving good comments to people and good help to other people. I appreciate you giving me things to look into. And there's people are giving some good ideas in the
Yes,
chat for you
absolutely.
to go check into. Find out and identify what triggers your asthma. Avoid it.
Yep, that's a great thing.
Stay frosty. Yeah, thanks. Bama J.
Yep.
Keep the preparedness tips up.
Yeah, absolutely.
Corticosteroids are not the same thing as anabolics. Yes, that's right. Question.
Okay. Full spectrum survival. Question. Would you consider
A double steam engine over conventional gas?
okay.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
as long as you've got fuel of some sort to make it go. It's so funny. Kelly and I were just talking the other day about climate change and how there's this big push away. They want you to believe, and just follow me on this path for a moment, right? They want you to believe that their push away from oil and toward solar and batteries and Teslas and all that is for your good and for the good of the environment.
Right.
That's complete BS. The real thing is they want to control the asset because they're not stopping flying in their planes all across the world to save on carbon.
Right.
They're not. They're doing it. They're flying all over the world, spending more carbon than you could in a year.
They're flying to go talk about saving.
To shame you for
right. In their jets.
And then you have other countries. This is what brought us into that conversation where they're literally burning garbage all day, every day. You've got Ghana doing it. You've got all these developing
Right.
countries burning garbage every single day. They're not going to stop because you're driving an electric car.
Right.
But guess what? Ukraine controls and has 15% of this Earth's lithium. Other countries under European control have another large percentage point of this Earth's lithium. So if they can make this massive old world order change to get you off of fossil fuels and onto a renewable that they control, they own you for life. It's all about control.
Mhm.
And so you have to have some control of the fuel. Sorry, again, that just triggered me into thinking about, we were talking about that the other night.
Yep. I saw the one about the treats.
Okay.
But I don't know where it went now.
Yeah, scrolled by too quick. So please.
It was something about games. I missed it. So
Okay. Hit
But
it again.
do it again,
yeah,
please.
say it again. Let's see. Full
Let-
spectrum. They have over 5. I do think that we have probably reached some sort of peak oil. Not like we're not going to have oil next year. Not like we're going to have it in the year, 21, 23. But they're probably not getting the same amount of ever maximizing growth. A company isn't doing good unless it's making more money than it made last year. And so the company is considered stale or not good unless it's making more. The same way with governments and corporations. If they're not taking out more than they took out last year, then they're not in good shape.
Right.
Because it's greed. It's always built on greed. So I do think we have probably reached some point where they might not be able to just get that ever-growing model of, more.
Yep.
And that scares a lot of people.
Okay. I didn't find it, but this person said, question. It's hard to do all caps. Carol said, I just wanted to know if water straws are good. I bought some for my grandbabies.
Life straws, is that what you mean? Life straws?
Probably.
Life straws are fine. The only thing I don't like about life straws is they only give you a certain amount of gallons of use. Now, if you go through those, I think it's like 1,000. Maybe they updated it to 4,000.
Mm-hmm.
That 1,000 gallons is a lot of water.
It's a lot of water.
However, like the Sawyer Minis, you can use up to 100,000 gallons if you don't freeze it, if you pre-filter so you don't get the sediment in it, and do all these different things. So it's just use it. It's better to have that than nothing.
Absolutely.
Did you find it?
I found it.
Okay.
They said, yes, candy, games, downtime, your treats. I think those are some forgotten things. Absolutely. We make a point. Brad says it all the time of do your chores, do your prep, and have fun. We have stuff that we have fun. We have card games. We'll go outside. The whole family will go bike ride.
Yep.
We have, we do video games together, but we don't only do video games. But we
Cards,
have
everything.
cards. Absolutely.
We play Dungeons and Dragons.
We do. Yep.
So, we're very family oriented.
Mhm.
We play video games with the kids. Video games are fine too, and everything's good in moderation.
Absolutely. Yeah. So I definitely agree that those are sometimes forgotten. And that's why I remember when we first started making our bug out bag, when we had our first boy,
Guys, we're talking like,
so many years ago.
yeah,
He's
we're
so
talking
old
like
now.
18 years ago.
We had Hot Wheels car in each bag.
Mhm.
That was a very important. He loved cars. He loved the Hot Wheels cars. So we made a point that in each of our bags there were cars in there, because in an event of a disaster or just camping or something like that, a little toy to make some normalcy,
Yeah, feel good.
some feel goods, that was important to us. So I completely agree that it's forgotten and is very important.
And so we do that now.
We do.
With the feel goods that we prep for, we have
Mhm.
games that we haven't given them,
Right.
or things that we haven't had access to, so that in the event of a disaster, even just a long-term power outage, you're out of power for a week or two,
Right.
you've got a new game that's new feel goods.
Yep,
things like that.
absolutely.
Sweets and treats absolutely have a
That-
place.
Yeah, absolutely. We make a point to store, we have sugar. I make recipes that you don't need a whole lot of, wild ingredients for. They're very basic. And those are our treats. Those are part of our preparedness.
That's right.
Yep.
I see someone talking to Hooples Cat. Hey, Hooples.
Hey,
Glad to
Hooples.
have you in here. Cupkey says,
Yeah. D&D is a great way to spend time with the family. We have found even the most reluctant children will grow to love it. We found that too. People will be against, like, what do? You just sit and you talk and you pretend, and then they do it and you're like, oh, okay.
D&D is like a video game that you only play
video.
without the video. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
it's fun to us, and yeah, absolutely. Someone said, Brad, check out the dice game called Spinner. It's a really good game.
Will you get to this question after I get to this one?
Yes.
Lula says, question, what advice did your grandparents give you when you were a child? My grandparents were preppers, as grandparents should be. They put food away. They paid off their house. They wanted to live a lifestyle that wasn't under tyranny, fought in the wars. They did those things that grandparents did. What advice did they give me? Well, I was the youngest of children, and so they ran plumb out of advice by the time I was growing up.
But, all up.
Yeah, but a lot of the advice the things that they told me, because I was just getting into my adulthood when they when they were in their 80s, and so the things that they told me were still important. Don't overextend yourself. Don't be in debt.
Yeah.
Find love and happiness, and that was. That's what stuck with me.
Yep. They ask.
Just decline.
Yep, sorry. Are we in World War III or not? What do you guys think?
Absolutely.
Yes. When you look at how many different countries are in conflict, yeah.
Yeah, we are absolutely. Am I frozen here?
We're not on here.
Okay. So. Absolutely, we are in World War III.
Yes.
Now, does that mean that they're going to mobilize every human on the planet? That's what history tries to make us think happened.
Yeah.
That's not what actually happened. If you go back and look, some countries did mobilize. Some did not mobilize. Some were just affected economically. Others were invaded.
It's not every country is drafted and everyone goes to war. It's not really like that.
Somebody says Monopoly causes violence. That's people's scat. We stay away from violent board games.
Right. No Monopoly here.
Valerie has a good question.
Valerie says, what are good items to put in a bug out bag? One bag for each person?
That depends on your ability to help other people. So I think that everybody's bug out bag needs to have in it enough care items that, let's just give a for instance, okay? Neither of us are diabetic. If Kelly was insulin dependent, I would also have her insulin backed up in my bag. Or let's say somebody had heart medication.
Right.
I would have that heart medication in my bag also as a backup. But would we each need our own bags? Yes, absolutely. And should her bags be able to use, have uses for me too?
Yeah, I think it should be a dual person bag in a way. I guess that's a confusing term.
Every bag should be able to be broken away from the group and have that person be able to survive the elements with that bag. So fire, making water safe to drink, building a shelter, having a first aid kit, having self-defense. Each one of those things, the rule of threes need to be adhered to in everybody's bag.
Isle of Fire gave super chat, so thank you so much.
Thank you. Yeah.
We really appreciate it. I don't know which one you want to go off.
You go. Yep.
Okay. Rhonda said, question, Brad, do you know of any ways to repair nerve damage from having a stroke?
So once the nerve damage, and I'm not a doctor.
Not a doctor. This is not medical
Pupil's
advice.
Cat would probably even have some better advice there. Repairing nerve damage, our bodies are always trying to repair those things, and sometimes they don't. I have some nerve damage from a bad accident I was in, and sometimes that's always going to be there to varying degrees. That's why, like, if a person has a stroke, that's why it's so important to get some sort of care, because things can be done in the moment that the longer you go on, the worse it's going to get. So is it like a neuropathy nerve damage that you're talking about? Or is it, what's going on there? And maybe there are some things. I know what you get to a point where physical therapy basically becomes the best option for the most mobility that a person's going to regain. But definitely stroke avoidance is number one. Everybody who hasn't had a stroke, or even if you have, not having another one, that needs to be number one on your preparedness list.
Absolutely. Unpopular truth. I was trying to see. She was recommending in part of like bug out bags to have items for women for periods and such. Reusable pads. They
Yeah,
make period
absolutely.
underwear now. It's something people don't talk about, but it's definitely something that's really important to think about. And if you have younger girl kids,
Getting
to
them
get
ready.
it, to have to keep that in mind. So
Pupils Cat, thanks so much. Replying to that question, says nerve damage cannot be medically repaired medicine. Surgical is iffy, and you risk making things worse.
absolutely.
Physiotherapy and learn new neural pathways. It's slow, it's annoying, and it works.
Mhm.
So definitely, but everybody has to go out there and do what they think is best for them.
Yep.
Let's see. I saw another question here. Lion's mane mushrooms. My daughter's D&D group showed interest in AD&D, which is the oldest version, or one of the oldest. They play 5th edition. I searched my collection and put together 6 sets of books for them. Good Lord, I felt like a hoarder. No more. Yeah, so
they do make a lot of books for D&D. We kind of just have the basic ones.
But yeah, I'm sorry to interrupt.
No,
you.
you're fine. Yeah,
On
go
what
ahead.
we had talked about on companies always growing and growing and growing.
Yeah.
Now, even this, they are attempting to make it a recurring model where you pay X numbers of dollars a month, X number of dollars a year, and you just continue to pay. You don't actually get access to anything.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Marie says, question, have you ever done fasting? Absolutely. We do fasting.
Intermittent.
Thank you. I could not think of the word.
I should have told you then.
We do it all the time. Go ahead.
We like to go between a 12-12. So most people should live a 12-12 lifestyle. So you don't eat for 12 hours during your rest time, and then you do eat for 12 hours. That's, even if you're not fasting, that should kind of be our normal cycle of eating and calorie intake.
Absolutely.
And then you have varying degrees up until you get in. Some people do a 20-hour fast, 4 hour. You okay?
Yeah.
4 hour eating. Some people eat one meal a day. I don't really do OMAD, 1 meal a day, just because I feel like while we can survive with that, that's more like a survival mechanism than anything else.
Right. Which is good to be able to survive that way, but we choose intermittent fasting. Hoople's Cat said he was a dungeon master in 1978. Nothing new there.
It was harder back then, let me tell you.
It was harder back then. We started
in 3rd edition.
3rd edition.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Review says, question, Brad, how much garlic are you taking for your hypertension? So I take about a clove a day.
Sometimes more. Sometimes
more.
It's clove a meal. Well,
Yeah.
not breakfast, but
Yeah,
yeah.
that'd be a rough one.
Yeah, but at least a clove a day.
Yep. So that, but again, it is proven to take down high blood pressure.
Yeah, some review said
Has cholesterol reducing properties, the bad cholesterol. There's so many good things with garlic, but you've got to try it, and I'd rather you try it before you actually need it.
absolutely.
Super glue people are talking about. Sorry if this was a repeat. I just got to that.
Yep.
So perfect. Well, guys, we're about wrapped up there.
Yes.
We'll get to a couple more before we finally wrap up, but
Yeah.
thank you guys for being here with us.
Absolutely. It was a fun surprise.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
we're kind of setting this space as a studio space, so you'll see a lot more videos here.
Yeah.
Let me tell you something, and you guys tell me here in the chat real quick, answer me. I dislike YouTube Shorts. I'm not a TikTok guy.
No.
I want to be able to fast forward. I want to get to the meat of a video. I want to be able to skip past parts I don't want to see. But I do see that there's a good reason for it. Like if I could show you in 60 seconds how to start a good wetwood fire, I think that that's a good reason to do that. Yeah. Let me know if that's an interest of yours. If you want those sort of survival-driven shorts for me to produce. If you do, start throwing it in there. Yes, we want that. Yes, we want that. Somebody said YouTube shorts suck. Yeah, I mean, Chip says I hate them. So maybe we won't even do it. Maybe we'll just, if we want to make a survival video, we'll just make a 3-minute video, an 8-minute video.
I mean, yeah, our community might be in agreement, and that's why they like you so much. But yeah. Shorts are good. I mean, I guess it's mixed, so maybe we'll have to do.
I don't watch the shorts. Yeah, I'm not a fan.
I think it's very mixed. So maybe we'll go in the middle. We won't do shorts. We'll just do
Mediums.
short.
Yeah, I'm gonna
Well,
make
we're gonna make
mids. I'm gonna make YouTube
Meds.
mids.
Meds.
I know. We'll see if that catches on. YouTube's gonna be banging on my door trying to get the
YouTube
idea there.
Okay.
But a lot of people do say yes. A lot of people say no. It's
There's
a waste of
really
time.
is a
The
big-
only reason I see a need for it is if it's not like some channels are doing it, even in the preparedness space. I think it's kind of garbagey. I'd much rather see if I can take 60 seconds to show you how to use a ferrocerium rod. Okay, that part makes sense.
Yeah. Well, Cowboy, I'm sorry to hear that.
Yep,
Thanks for being here with us. I'm glad you made an effort.
that's right.
Yeah.
So
But we love you still.
yep. If I could do that, then maybe a minute long video would help with that. If not, probably not. Bermuda shorts are better. Yeah, I appreciate that. I like the shorts. Yeah, so that's good. That's
Yeah.
I mean, that's a good poll. We got pretty much
But it was a very mixed.
mixed signals.
So we're gonna do the mediums.
Yeah, that's right. I'll do mids. So thank you guys so much for being here with us tonight. Expect a lot more lives. We're kind of set this up as a permanent space. So
Yeah.
that's really the hindrance for us is we live a very small home, minimalist lifestyle.
Really do.
And so if we don't have the space that you can just come turn it on,
Mm-hmm.
then it's harder to, I hear the thunder.
Yeah.
It's harder to get on there and do a live. But I
Right.
really want to get to the point where we're doing videos in the day and a couple nights a week we're taking questions from the
Right.
videos during the day
And then do some lives.
and we're doing some lives. That's
Yeah.
right. I think
The
that'd
lives
be
are
good.
so much fun. Like it's so awesome to get to sit here with everyone live and talk and have all these great discussions, answer questions, things like that. So it's a lot of fun.
Somebody says, what's the best filters for masks? I assume you mean filtration from things like dust and chemicals and even particulates.
Mhm.
N95 is the best commonly, most that you can get out of it, cheapest amount of money. P100s and full respirators are the best that you're going to get on a individual level at the consumer level. Anything less than that has some ability. Anybody who says masks don't work doesn't understand the dynamic of that the virus is too small, but what carries it from me to you is larger, and that gets caught in masking material.
Right.
But again, in N95, if you're looking to keep out oils and other organics, it doesn't filter that way. So it's just going to get sogged up. So it really depends on your purpose. Now, if we go through Ebola, you'll see me masked because I like my blood inside of my body, not coming out of my eyes, my nostril, or my ears. If we are suffering a chemical weapon attack, you're going to see me masked in another way.
Right. I like to
So,
breathe oxygen.
Yeah, I like to keep those things out. So
Yeah.
whatever you guys, are preparing for, again, nuclear disaster, I'm going to be wearing a mask for the ash and fallout,
Right.
volcanic eruption. N95s are shown to work for volcanic ash. So those types of things.
Lego Man says, how much water do you drink a day, Brad?
What would you say?
A lot. I mean, we have
Well, what would you say? Like, our goal. So what would you say I actually
gallon?
drink? Probably a minimum of a gallon per day,
a lot. We are drinking
all day,
all day.
every day. And
Yeah.
trying to get our children to drink more.
Yeah.
So much of our world runs life dehydrated.
Yes.
Once you're already thirsty, like I'm here thirsty right now because I'm talking. It's almost empty, but sure.
Okay.
I'm expelling my hydration through the particulates nobody can see. It's leaving my body.
Right.
So I feel thirsty right now. That means I am 5% dehydrated. At 15%, just one more hand, put up one hand, just at this much,
Yeah.
I die. I'm this much right now. At this much, I die. Hydration is a huge, huge part of your staying healthy. Please drink a lot of water. We use the Berkey at home. We use spring water.
Right.
We have a distiller.
Right. We've made sand
filters,
all of that.
yeah.
We've done it all. Water is so important.
Yeah,
What's
somebody
your-
said if Ebola happens, I'm living in a pit in my backyard. Hopefully not a 6-foot pit.
Yeah, I hope not.
I hated water until I was 25. Yeah, a gallon at least a day.
Probably, yeah. And that's a guess, but yeah.
South Florida says, what's your favorite beer? I don't drink any beer. I
He
had
doesn't drink any alcohol.
Yeah, I don't drink
at all.
any alcohol. Not because I don't think that some moderate alcohol drinking is not fun.
Right.
I had an accident about 6 years ago, and I broke 5 of my ribs, and 3 of them broke into my liver, lacerating my liver. So I basically created scar tissue on my liver. And what is alcohol disease and cirrhosis? Scar tissue on your liver. So basically, if your liver is scarred up and it's healed up, it can't process through those areas the same way anymore. And me drinking alcohol would basically make that not as good.
Right. Yeah.
So if I did have a beer, I would probably go for not a beer, like a
Something that doesn't taste like a beer, like
Yeah.
a more of a hard cider.
Yeah, I was never
kind
a
of.
fan of the beer
Mhm.
taste.
Yeah.
But don't tell that to my brother, my mother, my father, any of those. They were beer drinkers. And my grandfather, my goodness, that was his water. He could
The
probably
global
drink a
trip.
gallon of beer a day.
Yep.
Did you have a question?
I was just scrolling through to make sure we didn't miss any.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry to hear about the accident. It's okay. I'm okay now. It was a grade 4. So it was right. If I wouldn't have started to show the enzymes of it healing,
It would
then
be-
I would have had to go under emergency surgery for
Mhm.
it. Thank goodness I did not have to do that.
Yes.
And so I'm here today eating lots of turmeric, eating lots of garlic,
Mhm.
eating lots of great things that are good for your liver.
Yes.
So thank you guys for so much for being here. What do you think of Mark Cuban's Cost Plus for medications? I haven't seen that. I'll check it out. Do I drink wine? Would I drink wine? No, same thing, just the alcoholic content. Again, I could drink a beer a day, 3
Right.
beers a day, but I used to make my own alcohol
For
for fuel purposes. Okay,
Yes.
people,
It was
don't go.
all it
Yeah.
was for
Yeah,
was for cooking.
but let's
Okay.
just say if you had the chance to make your own alcohol, you would probably drink to get drunk. And as a youth growing up, that was my only goal with alcohol, is to drink to get drunk, because otherwise you're just looking for very minimally changing, benefits. Like wine is good for you in moderation. Even beer, when there is so much germs inside water, beer was safer.
That's true. The alcohol would make it
Yeah.
safe. Yeah. Well, let's not go there. Not moonshiner. Okay.
Yeah,
Just
who's that?
it was for
I do like the moon, and I like to watch it shine, but that's it. Okay. And now I don't drink any alcohol, so they can climb trees. I just like to drink water, a lot of it.
that's great. That is, I mean,
Yeah.
that's us.
And coffee I drink. So
Coffee. Hey, you need water to make coffee.
that's
so.
true. It's the #1 ingredient in it. Thank you guys so much for being here with us.
Yes.
Look forward to these here in the future, and this very setup and some cooking videos and some other fun stuff. Thanks to Tooples Cat, Chip, Bama, everybody
Yes,
for
thank
being
you.
everybody who super chatted. Like I said, what I want to do with a lot of these super chats, and tonight's in particular, is we are
Absolutely.
going to take any of that super chat money, and we're going to go to the people who we talk to face to face locally that need preparedness goods.
Mhm.
Sometimes it's just homeless people and they need certain things, or
Right.
houseless people, and really give back to local community that way. So thank you guys for helping empower us to be able to do that.
Yes.
From both of us to all of your family, please stay safe and keep watch.